Well, welcome back to DC Silver Age Storytime, and we're in the Golden Age again with another Spectre story. This one is More Fun Comics number 59 from September 1940, and the story is called The Fur Hijackers, and not one of my favorite covers. The Spectre, I guess it's supposed to be a safe, and so they're probably trying to rob it, and the Spectre comes out, which seems a little bit beneath him, but anyway, so Jim Corrigan is questioning this fellow, or he's being requested to investigate some fur hijackings. And so the first thing he does is look into the driver. And he says, "Would you be able to recognize any of the hijackers if you were to meet them again?" And the driver says, "I'm not sure," but in his mind he says, "Blast this nosy copper." Of course he doesn't suspect, but Jim Corrigan, as the Spectre, of course, can read minds, so he knows that this guy is lying. He also knows that he's going to attack him once they're alone, and so he does, knocking out Jim Corrigan, except he's not really, because Jim Corrigan is basically a god. So he calls up his boss, and his boss says, "What are you doing? Don't do that." And he says, "All right, just kill the guy." So the Spectre finally makes an appearance, and the criminal tries to kill him to no effect, and then does his eye trick, and the guy says, "Those eyes are boring into my soul." And then he orders Mulligan to lead him to his thieving boss. And so Mulligan becomes rigid and is floating through the air when all of a sudden a blinding interference off streaks Mulligan's figure, lost in a dimensional current, and no way I can pursue it. This is kind of weird things that happen with it's like there's some involvement in other forces, although I think it's probably just Jerry Siegel trying to pad out the story. So he says, "I've got to begin all over again," and these two criminals attempt to kill Jim Corrigan with a bomb, and to no effect. They're just like, "Look, it's Jim. It's all right, Wayne. I'm not hurt. I don't see how you survived that blast." Well, he's indestructible. So one of the trucks goes out with furs, and the Spectre decides to follow it. And a couple criminals drop a tree in the path, but the Spectre removes it from the path, and they go running off. And he says, "So help me, boss, I'm not lying. The tree just stood up on its own accord and let the truck pass." So they decide they're just going to attack the truck, which later on you'll see doesn't really make sense. And here is where I act now. So he causes the two cars to collide. There's one more car, and the Spectre creates a mirage road, which the car takes the road and just flies off, and they all die. So finally, the Spectre watches the truck as it stops, goes into a cave, and the Spectre discovers that the furs are inferior. Cheap, inferior furs. But Henley is supposed to be a high-quality furrier. Now I begin to understand. Okay, boss, they're all unloaded. Now what? So this was the guy from earlier. He's the owner of the fur shop. And he says, "Police chief, listen, I've just heard from my driver. Another hijacking, and you said I'd have protection. Haha, another sweet haul. Good heavens, the typewriter, it's operating itself. It says, 'You won't get away with this, Henley.'" So he's doing a racket where he acts as if the low quality, or the furs are stolen, which he has insured as if they were high quality, but they're actually low quality. I don't understand what it doesn't make sense. Why are these criminals, they seem to be working for him, so why are they even attacking the truck? The story doesn't really make any sense. So Henley tries to leave. "One side, you fugitive from a masquerade ball, or you'll what? I'll shoot you." What? It's turned into a squirt gun, and it squirts himself, which, yeah, it seems rather silly. But that's what the Spectre does. Then he causes him to freeze, which I don't know. I don't know why Henley gets off. I mean, he wants him to go to jail, but usually he just kills people. Tell the truth or I'll... No, don't. I'll tell. I'll confess. I pretended my trucks were being robbed. Well, boy, you really took the pretend far, because you seem to be going through the whole act. So that I could collect from the insurance company. You were right, Jim. Congratulations. Thanks, Chief. Nothing pleases me more than to see a criminal brought to justice. Next month, the Spectre meets Exanon and has the most terrific experience. This story was not good. It's, yet again, he's facing... I don't know what is up with Jerry Siegel on Fur Thieves. I think it's a second or third story with Fur Thieves. And they're just regular crooks, and the story doesn't make sense at all. Why are they trying to stop the fur truck? Why are they trying to hit it with a... Unless they're different criminals who don't work for Henley. Like, there's just coincidentally actually are fur hijackers. But anyway, certainly not my favorite story in the of the Spectre. And the Spectre is getting a little bit repetitive. But Exanon is... We'll see. Exanon is not a normal criminal. So that is the Fur Hijackers from More Fun number 59.